Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully, you're having a great week so far. Good to see you, bro.
You too.
Great week of football this past weekend. Before we jump into anything, just want to take a moment, send out some condolences to all the families of tragedies that happened over the last 12 hours or so, not only in Utah, but also in Colorado. So, again, we won't spend too much time talking about tragedy, but we do want to send our condolences out to the families affected by those tragedies in particular. So, um, God bless America and God help America. That's all I can say. Um, let's move on to
Yeah.
some football. So, week one is in the books, and I think there were some surprises. I think there were some games that obviously went the way we expected them to go. So let's just jump into it. I want to ask you, what are some of the standouts? What are some of the takeaways? Some of the things that jumped out at you after week one?
Well, the unders hit a lot. They're so it was crazy because in all the games there wasn't a lot of scoring. It was really a defensive dominated week of football. I could really tell in fantasy because all my leagues were very low scoring. They're really like guys you were expecting to break out in fantasy, like big names. So when
Yeah,
you say like what stands out is like I just think of like guys like CD making big drops, right? He had a good stat line, but had some big drops. I think
yeah.
of guys like AJ Brown not getting a ton of receptions. I
One
think about
catch.
guys like, huh?
One catch for AJ Brown, I think it was, wasn't it? Just one catch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about guys like Isaiah Pacheco not really getting a heavy workload in Kansas City, and often say they were expecting to, look really good, but they didn't. And, then they have some injuries. They lose to the Chargers. And so that stands out. The Chargers beating the Chiefs in week one. Justin Herbert looks great. And he looked great throwing the ball, not in an offense where they were heavily running the
Yeah.
ball. So there were a lot of things that stood out. I love the level of competition in a lot of games. There were some big comeback games in some big
Yeah.
games, right? There were some big games that we were all anticipating watching this week. Baltimore Ravens versus Buffalo Bills. That game, no one was
Whew.
expecting the Bills to win with 4 minutes left, and
No.
things changed,
Yeah.
right? I'm not gonna lie. I turned that TV off.
Did you?
I did. I turned the TV off. I was like, I got my fantasy dub. You know, I'm it. I was a little tired, and I was like, I got a big week ahead of me. So I was like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I turned it off. I woke up and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine a lot of people did the same thing during that game. I was going against Josh Allen in fantasy, so
Oh,
I wanted to I
you
just
were
be like,
invested.
eh, but I was invested. Like I was like, all right, hopefully Baltimore can keep them down. But then as Buffalo started to come back, I was just like, let's go. Because it helped out because Zay Flowers had a big day. I had him on my team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think one thing that stands out to me is the big games didn't disappoint. Like
No,
the
that was
especially
great.
the biggest game, the Buffalo Baltimore game didn't. It looked like it was about going to be a runaway, and for three and a half, little over three and a half quarters, Baltimore pretty much dominated the game. And then with one play, everything kind of turned. And like I said, I imagine there's a ton of people that did the same thing. They turned it off, did whatever, went to sleep, especially if you're on the East Coast. Woke up the next morning, Monday morning, going, "What the hell happened?" Um,
Yeah.
it was a really exciting finish. Obviously, anytime a team comes back from that many points down in that little amount of time, obviously some exciting things happen. So, yeah, I would say the Chargers Chief game again. What stood out to me in that game was, like you said, Justin Herbert had a great game throwing the ball, four touchdowns. Their defense looked really good. Of course, I mean Kansas City was down not only one receiver but lost another receiver 3 plays into the game. A lot of funny memes going around that Travis Kelce heard that Xavier Worthy was talking crap about Taylor Swift's last record, so he took him out.
Too funny.
All fun and games, but yeah, they lost
Yeah.
him on the third play, which obviously impacted the game. So I think another thing that stood out to me was like you said, some of the bigger names struggled. One that jumps out to me is Joe Burrow.
Burrow, yeah,
Uh,
that was another one. That Burrow
really
Chase
struggled.
connection. Yeah,
Yeah, they really struggled to get anything going all day. You know, they ended up pulling out the win by 1 point. And I know it's a division opponent, and it's the Battle of Ohio, but at the same time, we heard so much about the slow starts in Cincinnati that they played their starters quite a bit in the preseason compared to a lot of other teams. So I just expected them to hit the ground running a
right.
little, like obviously more than what they did in week one. So that stood out to me.
How
Daniel
about Aaron
Jones,
Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, another that game in general stood out because when you think about Pittsburgh, naturally you think about defense most of the time.
Right,
And when you think about the Jets currently, that's probably the strength of their team is their defense. So
right.
I don't think anybody expected the score that they ended up with, where they were just going back and forth. Justin Fields played a
He had
hell
a
of a
heck of a
game.
game too.
I think both of those teams, either team would have either team that won, I think you could have walked away going, they earned it. Both
Yeah.
quarterbacks played well. It just happened to come down to the Steelers, ended up making a couple more plays and ended up with 2 more points. So,
Yep.
but that was a game that stood out for the lack of defense when I expected a lot of defense. Giants surprised me. I thought for sure that they would put up more of a fight against Washington. Washington played compared to the way they looked last year, they played a bad game.
Yeah.
And
They
the
didn't play.
Giants were in the game for most of it until Washington kind of pulled away at the end. I think we're going to see Jackson Dart a lot sooner than we anticipated. And if you're a Giants fan, I think you should be excited about that for sure.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. Yeah, it was
uh
week one though.
exciting week, exciting week. The Monday night game, another comeback win. JJ McCarthy did not start off well. Minnesota's offense did not start off well. After JJ McCarthy threw the pick six, it was another game where it looked like well, we could turn this one off. But again, I needed a couple points from DeAndre Swift in fantasy, so I kept watching.
I have
And
Swift.
I mean, goodness gracious, what another comeback! Great poise and great perseverance by a guy making his first start in a hostile environment. Like I know a lot of teams go into Chicago and beat them, but that crowd is still they're still rowdy. They're still into it. And Chicago was playing pretty well for most of the game until I think Flores' defense. He just took over in the second half and really put the pressure on Justin Fields and confused him a lot. I'm sorry, not Justin Fields, Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Well, I want to point out one thing. I know a lot of people are going to give JJ McCarthy the hype and everything like that about, the offense coming and making the comeback. But you know who started that firecracker for those guys? He's a guy who used to play for the 49ers. His name's Jordan freaking Mason. And you know what? As soon as he got their run game going, that opened up things for
It
JJ
did.
McCarthy and actually opened up things for Aaron Jones. If you want to ask me
Yeah,
who was the better running back on the field that night, it was
absolutely.
Jordan Mason. And
I
if he's
agree.
available in your fantasy league, you need to go pick him up right now.
I drafted him late.
That was a good stash.
Remember, we've been talking for a while about it, and I think I might have told you. I think he's going to be their starter. He's going to be their RB1 by week 4, I think.
Yeah.
Um, Aaron Jones is getting older. He has a history of missing games. There
Yep.
was some injury talk coming into the season during training camp and preseason with Aaron Jones. Some worry about that. So uh, I just think I love Jordan Mason last year when he was on the 49ers. He filled in for Christian McCaffrey phenomenally. Not so much in the passing game, but the run game did not miss a beat with Jordan Mason in
Right.
the game. So I agree with you. I think he stood out. They kept saying it all night long during the broadcast. He's been the best back for Minnesota
And
tonight.
he
And
was.
the numbers
And
showed it. He
anybody
and you're right.
watching the game could see
You could
it.
tell. Yeah, the eye test just tells you he was the guy that kind of got, like you said, got everything going.
Yep.
And then they leaned on him down the stretch, and ended up coming away with the win. So yeah, that's another good call out. I like that one there, Jordan Mason. I think he's going to have a big year as long as he stays healthy.
Health
You know,
permitting. just like with
Because
every player in the league.
exactly, exactly. Which brings us to our 49ers. Let's dive into that one a little bit. Obviously, 49ers came away with a victory on Sunday, a comeback victory, although they outgained the Seahawks by quite a bit of yards. I have it right here. I'll look it up in a minute. And they owned the time of possession by about 16 minutes. They still had to come back and win the game. Thank you, Jake Moody. Let's go ahead and get some takeaways from you regarding the 49ers, and we'll break that one down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't even know if we can call them the 49ers anymore. I think we need to call them the 49 ERs for emergency rooms, because that's
Yeah,
where all of our players are right now. They're in the freaking emergency room. They're all banged
yeah,
up. We got Brock with the toe injury. We got Ayuk. We got Kittle. We got all these guys dinged up. And it's been like that for years. It's not even something new. I don't know what it is, but they got to
yeah,
figure it out, because if we're gonna make, here's the thing: the Chiefs, they were able to make a run for consecutive years, multiple years, and have a winning record in multiple years because they were healthy. That's the bottom line. The 49ers,
I,
they went up and down during those same years, record wise, missed the playoffs between their deep playoff
yeah,
runs. And that's because of health. And I just think, man. So, but as far as the game goes, I think there were some ups, there were some downs. Brock Purdy, showed some flashes. He actually made some big plays when it counted down the stretch without his top guys,
yep,
without guys like Debo, without a Kittle, without an Ayuk, right? CMC
yep,
was on the field, yeah. But outside of that, there wasn't really any veterans. Tongus is the guy who gets
yeah.
the winning touchdown pass from Brock Purdy. So I
Jake
want all the freaking
Tonges.
naysayers to shut the hell up about Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I agree. I would
Our defense
say
looked good too.
the defense looked really good. I was very impressed by the
Yeah.
defense. I'm so glad that Robert Saleh is back. I'll start there actually. I was excited to see Fred Warner moving around, doing his thing. Little injury scare. Again, injuries play a part in everything when it comes to the 49ers, but he was all over the place, making plays, flying around like he normally does. What I was really impressed by was you could tell that Nick Bosa is playing with a higher level of,
Oh
I want to say,
wow.
passion, maybe. He seems more determined than he last year. It seemed like he's just kind of, I don't want to say going through the motions, but he didn't seem as fired up as he was this week in week one, this year in week one. Like you could tell he was into it, made obviously the game sealing play by shoving the lineman back in to Sam Darnold and causing the
Creating the
fumble and
fumble.
then
Yep.
recovering the fumble. So, I was very happy to see Nick do his thing. I think the secondary, we saw some good things. We saw some not so good things.
Yeah.
I'm really high on Upton Stout. I think I've been telling you for a few weeks now. I think that dude is going to be. I think he's going to be a star. He's got to obviously get some
Yeah.
more experience, but I think he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to be happy that we ended up with a couple of years from now. So I'd love to see more from Michael Williams. I know he was probably not on the field as much as he will be as the season goes along and he gets healthier. But I'd love to see more from him as well. Only ended up with one solo tackle and then one assist. So um, obviously they brought him in to add some pressure on the other side with Nick Bosa. So we'd love to see that happen. But overall, defense looked great. Happy with the way they
Really good.
played. Uh, Offense, like you said, there were some ups, there were some downs. First drive looked pretty solid. We go down before Kittle gets hurt, he gets his touchdown, looks good. Brock had some good plays, and then the two interceptions really kind of stood out because they were bad throws. There's no way around it. Every quarterback makes bad throws, so we can kind of
That
chalk
triple
that up.
coverage one, man, like just had me
The
like, wow.
second one,
You,
the
yes.
first one was uh, maybe he didn't get enough on it either. It's still a bad throw, but that second one was like he had already made his mind. Like we talked about, we were watching the game. I think he made up his mind no matter what. When this ball gets snapped, I'm throwing it to Ricky Pearsall, and there were at first it looked like three guys, but when they showed the replay again, there was really four guys, like you said, in the area. So that was a
Oh
really
yeah, that's
bad.
right.
Uh, and then the touchdown, the last touchdown to Tonjas, for a second, that looked like might have been
Could have been
picked.
picked. It was
Tight
this
end made a
close.
great play and pulled it out and came down with the catch. So in the end, they
Yeah,
made the plays that they needed to make. I was happy to see CMC play a full game. No injury scare. He looked solid to me. One thing that we didn't see that we're using CMC is that big play. Usually we'll see at least one a game. We didn't really see that, but he had 142 total yards from scrimmage. So yeah, I'm not going to complain if a guy's giving you a buck 40 every game. Love to see him get in the end zone, but he set up, a couple touchdowns with the yards that he got. So
exactly.
I would love to see the offense just get some more rhythm and avoid the turnovers. Obviously, injuries are going to play a big part in that now with Brock seemingly going to be out in week 2. So we'll see how Mac Jones does there. They said that there was no major damage to Jawan Jennings, so he's day to day. Hopefully he'll get back
Yeah.
in there. But yeah, other than that, I think that we got some work to do on offense for sure. Protect the ball a little more. Offensive line, I'm still up in the air about. Obviously I love Big Trent, Dominic Pooney. I like him a lot. The other three guys, I need to see some more, make sure that they're protecting our quarterback a little better. So, um,
Yeah.
but overall, I mean, they outgained. I have it right here. I thought I was going to bring it up. They outgained Seattle 384 yards to 260. I'm sorry, where'd it go? What the heck? Oh, I lost it. Oh, I'm sorry. They had 384 total yards. The Seahawks had 230 total yards. So they outgained them by 150 yards. So that tells you defense did a great job. Again, they maximized the time of possession out and had it for 16 minutes longer. The two turnover, I mean not the two turnovers, the two missed field goals, obviously made the score a lot closer than it should have been as well. And because of that, bye bye Jake Moody, you are gone. Welcome Eddie Pinero. Uh, and I think Eddie Pinero has been in the league for a while, so obviously a lot more confident with him. Mike died.
Well, how about that?
There you go. You're back. But yeah, I'm definitely I just feel more confident already with Jake Moody being out of the building.
Yeah, me
So
too. Not going to cost us points.
yeah,
So I was
exactly.
saying, just don't miss a kick.
Yeah, just don't miss. Oh, if he misses a kick, oh, died again. Technical difficulties, folks. That's what happens when you're recording impromptu. But no worries. Justin will be back in just a moment. In the meantime, want to run down the week 2. There you are. Are you back?
Yep.
All right, there you go. So yeah, I was just saying, yeah, if he misses a kick, um,
He's
oh
going to
my
be public
goodness,
enemy number one, man.
yeah, yeah. So I mean that might be the toughest job to sign up for right now is 49ers kicker because if you're not perfect, we are going to want to hang you.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about tomorrow's game. Big game. Not only because of the standings in the NFC, these are two teams that we figure to be in it in the end in Washington and Green Bay. But also because if you recall, which I'm sure you do, but those of you, the 6 of you that watch, if you recall, I made a bold prediction a couple of weeks ago that the Green Bay Packers are going to go 9-0 to start the season. And obviously, Justin said this is when the streak is going to end, is week 2. So, your thoughts on the game coming up? What do you expect to see? What are you looking for when Washington visits the not so frozen tundra of Lambeau Field right now?
I'm actually going to be looking forward to seeing that matchup that we would normally get twice a year between Jaden Daniels and Micah Parsons, actually, because Micah Parsons did actually look pretty good in his Green Bay debut. He had a sack, he made some good plays, and I mean, he was just flying around when he was on the
He
field.
did.
he only had, I believe, like 25 or 26 total plays
Yeah,
in this game. So he didn't even play like a full game or a full workload. But that's actually what I'll be looking forward to is Micah, and then that kind of matchup is like how do they, game plan against each other, from coaching perspectives, but
yeah.
just to see the game within the game, it's going to be
Okay.
interesting because Jaden's going to get chased by Micah.
Yeah,
And I think he likes that. I think he's going to like that game. Mike will probably get to him a few
yeah.
times, but I feel like it's going to open up some big plays for Daniels in the run game, for him running the ball, and also for the Commanders' run game. So I'll be interested to see that. Washington's defense. They played pretty decently last week, but against a subpar offense. So Green Bay,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
expecting them to put up a lot better
Yeah.
performance on offense. So I'll also be looking forward to seeing that matchup, just the Green Bay offense versus the Commanders defense in general.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Green Bay's defense with Micah looks against a more mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, he can move, but he can't move like Jaden Daniels can move.
No.
He's more of a pocket passer. He can move enough to get a first down here and there. He's not one of those guys that you're thinking of when you think of dynamic runner. So I'm very interested in that matchup as well. Um, I think that these are two of the quarterbacks that we're going to see making deep playoff runs for years to come, at least the next 5, 7, 8 years. So I'm just looking forward to seeing both quarterbacks and how they manage their teams. Obviously, I don't like Green Bay. I don't want to call it a hatred, but it's almost a hatred for Green Bay. And it goes way back to their early Brett Favre days when they knocked the Niners out of the playoffs a long, long time ago. So, not that I'm rooting for Jordan Love, but I do think he's a very good player. I think he's a good quarterback. He's continuing to get better. This is the
Yeah.
longest stretch in his career without an interception. I think it's 9 games now. So, be interesting to see if Washington can break that. And then I'll also be interested to see how they utilize how they continue to utilize Debo. He had a pretty good game
He had a good game.
against the Giants. And again, that's another thing. They were playing the Giants, so we expect the Giants defense to be good, pretty
Yeah.
decent. And they probably are if they can get off if their offense can keep them off the field for a little while. But yeah, I think Debo had a good game against them, and I want to see how that translates against Green Bay with Micah in the lineup. So that's what I'll be looking forward to. I'll also be looking forward to Josh Jacobs. I need you to get some touchdowns, buddy, because you're on my fantasy team. So come on, Josh Jacobs. Let's do that really quick. Just if there's anybody that off the top of your head, if you think about it. If not, that's okay. Anybody that jumps out at you in this game, fantasy wise.
First person is Krosky Merritt. Everyone wants to know what he's going to do. I mean, he had a decent game week one, fantasy wise. I know everyone's expecting a bigger workload or anticipating, hoping for. I know some people in my fantasy league are, and so that's kind of the first thing I'm looking for. And then, with Terry McLaurin, actually, he had kind of a slow start to the season. Another one of those big name guys. He just got paid. But there was the
It's a
whole
hold
hold
in.
in throughout,
Yeah.
yeah. And so he didn't really get a lot of time with the guys on the field. So I'll be curious to see if he can get back in form and if his fantasy performance is a little bit better.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be the more rhythm, the more time he gets. It's a short week this week, so maybe not, we might not see that
Yeah.
full production or potential that we will see as the season progresses. But I think that he's probably going to have a better game. Krosky Merritt, what surprises me is unless I was reading something that was wrong, that was made up, which is very possible because sometimes I don't check stuff. Uh, I could have swore that going into the season, he was their fourth string running back. And this dude, and I think a lot of people were shocked by that because of the way he played in the preseason.
Yeah.
And then he came out and he was like, I'll show you fourth string on the depth chart. And had a phenomenal game. So kudos to you, Bill Krosky Merritt, or Merritt. I apologize, and keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's a good call out. Eckler, he got some carries. He made he didn't really make a lot happen. Looks like 6 carries, 26 yards, so not much. But yeah, Krosky Merritt and Debo Samuel had their 2 rushing touchdowns. So
Yep.
it'll be I think it's gonna be a good game overall. Any other games this week that maybe jump out at you? I know we'll probably talk more about them on Saturday, but anything else? Any other games that you can think of?
No, not off the top of
Yeah,
my head. I've not given
gotcha.
this week's games much of thought, with the exception of
The
tomorrow's
Niners.
game.
I got you.
Um, just in the fold at work, but I'll get my research done on Friday.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably. I mean, I got the schedule here. None of them really jump off the page at me either until we probably look at it a little deeper. The only one that really, just looking at it, jumps off is the Super Bowl rematch, Philly and Kansas City. I think it'd be a lot more exciting if Kansas City had their wide receivers and we could see them at full strength. But it is what it is. So, two
Yeah,
Monday night games
I'm
coming up this week, so that'll be nice.
I'm gonna predict a blowout in that Chiefs game, just to be honest with you.
Think so?
I think the Eagles are about to destroy those boys. They made quick work of them in the Super Bowl. Let's be real about it. I mean,
They did. They did.
and the Chiefs now are a less healthy, less put together team, and I don't know. I think the Eagles are going to put it on
Uh,
them. I could be wrong, but I think the Eagles are going to put it
uh,
on them. I'm expecting a 2 touchdown victory.
Ooh, I could be wrong, but I smell a bet.
I'm not going to bet on it, but
No, just a gentleman's bet. Just a
yeah, let's
gentleman's
do
bet.
that. We could do that.
I don't. I think Philly might win the game, and they're probably going to win the game, and I'll most likely pick them in my pick 'em. I don't know if they're going to beat by 2 touchdowns though. It's possible. I mean, like you said, they just kicked their ass in the Super Bowl.
And it got no
But
Rasheed Rice,
at the
no.
same time, Philly lost a lot of the guys that they had. They definitely did not look as disciplined in week one as
Their
they did in the
defense didn't
Super
look as
Bowl.
good. That's true.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then, Andy Reid,
He just has
he
a
always
way.
bounces back. He always
Yeah.
bounces back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to that one. But other than that, I think the game tomorrow is probably the other one that most people are probably looking forward to. It's probably the biggest one on the schedule right now. So let's go football. All right, man.
Yes, sir.
That is all I got. I appreciate you getting together with me on a Wednesday to talk about the 49ers and our injury woes and a little preview for tomorrow night. And
Yes,
I look
sir.
forward to chatting with you Saturday morning, sir.
All right, let's do it.
All right, perfect.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
all of you for watching. The whole 6 or 7 of you. Hopefully it's 8 or 9 or 10 now. We do appreciate it. Don't forget, be kind. It is free unless you are talking to Cowboys fans. See ya.